Hello, guys. Welcome to the fifth episode of the series which I launched a few weeks back, Polarising Dialogue, which is like a series where me and Sakhi, my amazing diplomatic friend from school, we exchange views and our opinions on certain matters which are prevalent right now. The topic today is a pretty light-hearted one, and it's not as controversial as people might expect, but I think it is that much more informative nonetheless. The topic today is actually spirituality. I know spirituality. How come Madhesh is talking about spirituality and all? I know. For the people who are like my friends, I think I've been like leading the atheist front. So I mean, spirituality and Madhesh. It's kind of surprising to see it coming from me, but yeah, the topic today is spirituality. And yeah, Saki, if you have any kind of opening thoughts, you can just add them.
You gave me one. Well, do you associate spirituality with religion? Because I don't think it's anything about religions at all. I mean, if you ask me to define it, I wouldn't be able to define it because it's so abstract, and that would just sound like I'm saying something straight out of Wikipedia because I haven't felt something like it myself. But I definitely don't associate it with religion because it's basically, I think I would say enlightenment, but I myself don't know what that feels like. But yeah, do you associate it with religion, and why is that?
I mean, what do you mean by spirituality? Like, according to you, what would the definition of spirituality be if it's not God?
Yes, so basically, it just means that you are satisfied, you are happy to the point that you know that you cannot get happier than this. You are content with what you're feeling at this moment because as humans, we're always in the pursuit of something, right? We hope for things, we expect for things, and we experience a bunch of emotions, a variety of emotions depending on the things that we experience. But when you get to a point where you're just happy to exist, to be there and be present in the moment, not thinking about the past or or the future. I mean, just being there and staying happy. I think that's what spirituality, I wouldn't say spirituality means, but that's just my definition of it. I don't know, I haven't experienced it, but yeah, this is what I mean by it. What about you?
Okay, but yeah, but being present is what you said, right? Like being
Yeah,
present in the moment and all that. Isn't that mindfulness? I think
that is
spirituality
mindfulness.
is
It's a very big part of being spiritual. I feel like that's what it
okay,
is.
right? I understand. Yeah, spirituality. I mean, according to me, it's like the definition is like the kind of recognition of some power which is greater than oneself.
Yeah.
Or I mean, looking at it's not just power, it's just having any kind of purpose which is greater than oneself. So purpose to serve humanity, or purpose to bring humanity forward, purpose to help x amount of people or a specific group of people. I think that is what spirituality means to me personally. Whenever anyone mentions spirituality, I instantly turn to God. I know, again, it's kind of, it's hard for me myself to accept it because I don't know, I've been an atheist for so long and just starting to believe in God only for 4 months now, and I do not regret. I absolutely love it. Like, it's kind of fascinating how, I mean, you wish for one thing and you literally get it in some way, shape, or form. But that's beside the point. Just believing in God, and even though it is going so well for me, it is that much more harder to accept for me that I am now a man of God, or I am someone who's not an atheist, who actually follows God and who actually believes in God and all that. Because from birth, I have been this kind of person. I think people nowadays, most youngsters, they turn to atheism because it kind of allows them to do whatever they want, right? Just forget morality, just engage in whatever they want for the pursuit of pleasure. Obviously, this kind of notion that masturbation is good and porn is good and all this release is good for your brain and it releases stress and all of these things, it's no different from smokers telling that, smokers saying that smoking, I mean, releases stress. Of course it may, but the kind of
Effects. Hmm.
long term effects
Yeah.
of it, it's kind of, you cannot even measure it in terms of just numbers, in terms of just you cannot quantify it. Masturbation, just specifically masturbation, it kind of completely takes away your ability, or rather, I've seen this in studies, a lot of studies, it kind of takes away your ability to form meaningful relationships because you kind of live in your own imagination and in your own head most of the time. People turn away from God and they turn away from religion because they're like, I mean, in kind of religious books and religious beliefs, they kind of state that all of this is a sin, is haram, right? And people are just like, I mean, why would this be a sin? I mean, this feels good. Of course, I mean, if it feels good, it should be good for me. That's how most youngsters think. That's how I think we've all thought at some periods, at some point in our lives. And later down the line, we would have actually realized that the kind of decisions that we made when we were younger, yeah, probably a little more thought than whether it just feels good right now. I think a little more thought had to be put in it. If at all that was the case, your life wouldn't have ended the way ended up where it is currently, right? Personally, it's just video games for me, right? I have had parents and everyone telling me video games was just bad, bad, bad. I just stuck up to it, and yeah, now when I'm just 18 or 19, I realize that I was just sticking up to this one thing that was just ruining my life.
Mm.
And I think you can you can relate that to people with depression as well. When people have depression, when you tell them to stop reiterating that, to stop believing it, because believing it of course doesn't serve you. You might as well assume that you don't have depression so that you can act in some kind of other way, so that you don't have this excuse now to be lazy. But people, again, they stick up to things which frankly don't serve them, and I understand why they do, because it gives them an excuse to be lazy. And I think I'm just so far off topic now of this whole rant. What do you think about it, Sakhi?
Depression, this thing, okay, I had a point, but then that would go on to
Yeah,
another topic. So we're not going to do that. So
I think that
I
can become a
was,
topic on its own, like depression and mental health.
that could be the next topic. Yeah. So I
Okay.
was, I actually wanted to do a little bit of my homework before we recorded this session, because I haven't uh, dived into this topic in a very long time. So with me, what happens is I get interested in a certain thing for this limited period of time, and then I look up on the internet all about it, start practicing it,
You
and
go down the
bringing
rabbit
it.
hole
Yeah, in a good way. So
in a good way. Yeah.
these good things, yeah, these phases I have, and then I sort of get away from it after some time, because I have a new interest apparently. So this I had
Typical
this
teenager.
super serious meditation phase back in 2020 or 2021. 2021, yeah. So I took part in this 10-day spiritual retreat. So all we had to do was meditate for hours and hours together, and the maximum I did was for 2 or 3 hours at a stretch. So 3 hours of meditation. Okay, it wasn't, it was very very difficult, but after a point you get used to it. And I wouldn't say I felt like on top of the world, or I was just so happy, and I wouldn't say that. But one thing I can guarantee for sure, that it kind of stops the chattering of your head. You're constantly thinking. When you experience that kind of calmness in your head, you just think about all those days, all those months that you've been thinking about random stuff constantly, ranting, complaining, and you haven't felt that sense of silence in a long time. So I think that feels very calming. And meditation, otherwise, it's very difficult to. I haven't meditated in a long time, but that has been a phase, and I know it is something. That's why I am a little bit into spirituality, I would say. So I was looking up at this article which said what makes you a spiritual person. So I was just thinking, if we can tick boxes together, how spiritual we are.
Shoot. Yeah. Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah. Go ahead.
So the first one was feeling peaceful with meditation or other mindful practices. Have you ever tried meditation?
Yeah. I mean, I do it every day. Meditation,
Too?
I indulge in it. Yeah. Every single day. I think for the past 4 or 5 months, I haven't skipped a day. Thankfully, I do
That's
it
very
twice.
nice.
Yeah.
How many minutes, or
I
how many
can
minutes?
go up to only 20 minutes.
Hmm.
But I believe in consistency. Like, I don't want to do it for one day, but
Mhm.
hours on end. That was going to be my actual reply to you. I think the reason why you stopped meditating was because you did it for hours on end. That I don't think that is necessary. I think 20 minutes and 10 minutes in the morning, it's just enough. And
No,
before sleep, it's just enough.
that was my
I
maximum.
understand.
Before that, I'd done for some time, and then it grew to 2 hours and 3 hours, because I was doing that retreat. Otherwise,
I understood.
normal basis, I cannot do more than half an hour. But yeah. 20
I
minutes
understood.
is very good.
When you just said
Consistency.
10 day spiritual retreat, my mind is like, yeah, she 100% is not doing this now. Because it's like you're already putting like a time limit on this specific habit that you're going to be following. I don't think that's a healthy way to develop a habit or to quit anything. So if at all you're refraining from smoking or refraining from beer or something, you shouldn't be like, you shouldn't be like, in this week, after 7 days, I'm not going to drink for 7 days, which means you're kind of building up to failure. Right? Uh, you are kind of destined to just fail on the eighth day because you're like, I'll not drink for 7 days. Obviously, after the seventh day, you're going to be like, okay, 7 days are over. I can just drink now. No kind of progress is going to be made that way. I think progress is made when it comes to just addiction and all this. Then when you can just take a longer time frame and you're like,
Slowing
I'll
down.
do this specific thing 3 times or less, 4 times or less, and just look at the longer term perspective. I think people are just too hung up. They'll practice something. They'll be drinking for years, 4, 5, 6 years. They'll be drinking and smoking. They would want to quit in a month. You can't do that. This is a skill that you've been developing. It's like a video game. You've been developing the skill over and over for like 4 or 5 years, and you want to just cut it out instantly. Your brain doesn't work that way, right? And
That's
yeah, when it comes to just meditation, 2 hours, I don't think I can actually sit for 2 hours, even though I'm so like, I actually can, but I would need peer pressure for that. I mean, I think I'd give up after 1 hour. I have things to do and all. I can't just keep sitting there for 2 hours without having my brain constantly chatter about me wasting time. Even when I read books, my brain is like, I mean, you're wasting time. There are so many things you can be doing. Why are you reading this book?
reading book is
Even
very
though I'm
productive.
learning, it's like, exactly. But my brain is just like, you could be more productive. What is this? You are like kind of reading this for pleasure. This feels good, which is bad. You have to suffer pain. Where is the pain?
Oh my God.
And pain has to be there for growth. I think my brain is kind of wired that.
Oh my God.
As I said in the, I think 2 videos before or 3 videos before, I'm a little bit of a psycho. Like, I think you could.
I know that.
Think I'm so built to, yeah, enjoy pain. When pain is just not there, I'm just like, what is this? What is this? Something is missing. Where is that familiar feeling that I'm used to feeling?
You are a
Anyway,
psych,
this is
but
not
good.
spirituality. This is not spirituality. Yeah, meditation, 2 hours. The problem I had with this 2 hours, you won't find benefits that way. And
Mhm.
because I think over time only the benefits will start slowly kicking in. And when those benefits start kicking in, you can easily like spot it. Like, you would actually feel like an anime character when you're in a room, and you can point out who is distracted, who has what problems. You'll be so focused and so dialed in on just the present moment that you're just like a ninja, honestly, in that moment of time. I think when I put it like this, people are going to be like, oh my god, ninja, can I become a ninja? I'm going to start meditating from today. They'll do it for 2 days, 1 hour, they'll quit. Again,
That is true.
not the
That
way
you,
you
you
build a
can't
habit.
start with that. That's true. Yeah.
Exactly. No, not yeah, exactly. Yeah, not the way you build a habit. And yeah, I had one more point which I kind of forgot. It was a nice point, but yeah, I kind of forgot. Yeah, it's just meditation. 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours. I cannot even imagine. I don't even know how you actually indulge 2 hours of meditation. Like, when you just said that, I was like, what the hell? For 2 hours?
Before the retreat, I used to do it for shorter durations, and then I had this intense urge to, go really far into it very
I
quickly.
know, I know, I
So
know.
I
Yeah,
got into
because
it.
I
So
think, I say I know because I've seen your amazing video, beautiful video that I link in the description.
no,
Such amazing video that is. I link in the description. Sakhi will give you guys tips on how to waste time properly. Where she will talk about amazing lives of Bollywood wives. That I've seen it so many times and I've laughed so many times that I even remember the kind of things that you've
oh my
said in that
God,
video. Yeah,
that's one video I
amazing.
posted on my channel.
Absolutely banger of a video. I'll link the video down in the description, right, guys?
Nobody's
So you
going to
guys can check
believe
it.
me, whatever I say here now after watching that. Be like, what
No,
productivity? You're believing it.
that was
I said,
satire at its best. That is satire. Oh my god. And actually, I'm actually concerned. Actually, some people will actually take that seriously. Fuck me. Oh no. Oh
no,
no.
it was clearly a joke. But yeah, if after they watch it, you will like, what are you talking about productivity? You don't believe in it yourself.
I actually remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah, then.
You said about calmness, right? Like meditation made you feel calm or whatever. I don't think that calmness comes from your attention. When you meditate for so long, you kind of get a hold of your attention. I
Hmm.
think anyone who's watching this video can try this out for yourself. If you just sit and try your best not to think about anything for 10 minutes, you won't be able to. You'll start thinking about random things like a monkey video that you saw 2 years or 3 years ago, or some kind of football. You start thinking of random things. When you actually engage in meditation, when you get a firm grip on your attention span and your attention, all of the thoughts will be kind of running over your head. They'll be flying over, and you kind of pick and choose to some degree, depending on how advanced of a meditator you are, on which thoughts to give your attention to. And
But
calmness,
I feel like
go ahead.
when I meditate, I focus on the breath. When I take my
Yeah.
focus there, then I don't think about anything. So
you
it's
you
not that
focusing on your
I'm.
breath is you are directing your attention to one single thing at a time. I don't think when you're just going about our lives, we consciously try to direct our attention one single thing at a time. When it comes to
I
just
don't do that.
meditation, yeah, we don't do that. When it comes to just meditation, we kind of force all our attention to just this breath. Even then I think it's very hard to just stay focused
That
on
is,
your breath.
yeah.
If you actually, yeah, it's very hard. You won't even realize. For people who are starting out, when this does happen, don't feel disheartened. This is normal when it comes to meditation. When you're breathing and your mind just wanders, and you won't even realize your mind wandering. But that's
Hmm.
literally the best part of meditation. That's where Hamza, he coined this very well. This is like your brain does the bicep curl. This is like a curl for, this is like one rep for your brain. When your attention goes somewhere and you come back to your breath, that is like one rep for your brain. You do.
Hmm.
The most focused people in this world are not people who don't get distracted ever. They are people who get distracted but
Hmm.
come back to whatever they were doing as quickly as possible. They return because they notice, they are kind of mindful of their attention going somewhere else, and they spot it very instantly and they come back to it. Coming back to it as well is a little bit hard, because some people, even though they spot, when I think that this is very common for doom scrollers on Instagram, and you're just scrolling, you realize to some extent that
Hmm.
you kind of scrolling and you need to stop. But I think your dopamine loop, that you are expecting some kind of best amazing video to come, you're not able to stop it.
Hmm.
And that control, again, don't put yourself down for not having that control. Is perfectly normal. Like everything else, this is practiced. This is like a skill. Look at yourself like a video game character. If you're only able to meditate for 3 minutes, that is absolutely fine. Start somewhere. Don't compare your 3 minutes to my 20 minutes and be like, oh, you can do it for 20 minutes, I can only do it for 3 minutes. Like, how useless am I? Don't do that. I've been doing this for 4 months. Of course I'm gonna do it for 20 minutes. So yeah, I mean, people compare their day one to people's, I mean, day 300, and yeah, kind of, it's kind of disheartening when, I mean, they do that. I mean, as much as you can try and like convince them to not do that and all, um, you can only be successful up to a certain point. But yeah, like
It's
meditation,
nice
an
that
act
you
of just, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
pointed out that it plays such a big role when you want to have a focused mind. When you meditate,
Hmm.
you learn to bring your mind to one particular thing that you're doing. So even if you're doing, even if you have a bunch of tasks to do, a bunch of things in your mind, when you are doing something, you are giving it your 100%. And that basically is mindfulness. And that's what we need to practice.
Yeah,
So,
beautiful. Andrew Huberman actually coined this so well. I think I've talked about. Do you know Andrew Huberman? I've talked
you
about him
talked
in
about
my
it in your last video. I
I've
saw
in
your
my
last
last video. Yes, in my last video, I started with saying attention is probably one of the most important factors of like very happy people. What I meant was people who are really happy and people who are sad. The kind of one thing that you can notice is that sad people, they don't have a firm grip on their attention. Their brain will be focused on 10,000 different things at a time. Obviously, you're gonna end up being more stressed out that way. Your brain is literally getting fried rather in real time. The most happiest people, even if they have 10,000 things to do, they only focus on one thing at a time. More stress free that way. And the secret to actually calming down your brain is actually not trying to not think at all. It's rather directing your attention to one singular thing at a time. So, for example, people who overthink, you guys can try this at home if at all you're watching to till this point of the video. If at all your brain is firing off and you want to stop overthinking, try to force all your attention to some kind of external thing. So, for example, I see this. This is there. I just focus all my attention on this earbud, on this earphone. There is that earbud. I focus all my attention on the earbud. I kind of look at all the details of the earbud. When you focus all your attention on this one singular thing externally, your attention cannot go back to all those useless things that you were just rambling about in your head. Now your attention is focused on this. Obviously, that will calm down. As you give it more attention, that thing grows. So again, it's like you don't need to. This is why I have a lot of problems with people who say they can multitask and all of these things. I don't think multitasking is a thing. I mean, even if you're multitasking, there'll be this one task which you're giving that much more attention, than the other task is just there for the sake of, oh, I'm multitasking. For this, you'll just.
Tell you what's
I have this.
ironic. I'll tell you what's ironic. You talk about quantity over quality, so I did not think you would, not be for
I
multitasking.
understand. I understand, but like
But
quantity in the sense, yeah, you should focus on one thing and just finish it. I don't mean do everything at once. Yeah, I mean,
that's
yeah, it's nice that
practically,
you
I
pointed it.
mean, it's practically kind of impossible to do too much in a day with your full 100%. Well, that's
True,
not.
yeah. I mean, just give it your best. I mean, that's all I'm asking. You don't need to give your 100% to everything. Your brain power, again, Hamza, he uses these weird wordings, like brain power. You kind of level up your character. He uses weird terms like this, which is why I relate to him so much. He coins it in such an amazing way as well. In the morning, the kind of task which you do in the first part of your day will have your 100%. Every single task you do after that will naturally have 80 or 70% of your brain only. Because
That's true.
whatever you indulge in the morning will have your complete attention. Your brain is kind of fresh after a good night of sleep. If at all you had a good night of sleep, even if you did not, it's still sleep. Your brain is rested. Your brain is fresh now. The most amount of energy and the most amount of focus and the most amount of power that your brain will have is in the morning, which is why when you start scrolling in Instagram, as soon as you wake up, it's very easy to become a habit. For that to become a habit, I think it's that much more hard to stop doom scrolling when you wake up, like to break that habit, as opposed to some kind of habit at night. Because in the morning, it's your brain is completely full of energy and it's focused on this one thing, and that results in becoming a habit, which
That
is
makes a lot
horrible,
of
which is
sense.
that much more harder to overcome. Yeah. So again, yeah, as soon as you wake up, this is why I try to tell people. I mean, people don't listen. I mean, they think I'm stupid for telling them. Just wake up and just brush your teeth without your phone. When our elders hear this, they'll be like, "This is so easy of a task. I mean, what is this?" But for our generation right now, just brushing, just wake up, don't look at your phone, just brush and look at your phone. You don't even have to. You don't have to eat. You don't have to look at your phone after you eat. No problem. Just brush. Just finish brushing and look at your phone. They can't do it. They're just so used to this habit of just waking up, making whatever texts. Your brain power is gone. Literally there for the first part, your entire bit of your brain you're using to scroll text for what?
I've
I don't
had
know.
this. For a long time, for a bit. Yeah, I still do that actually. So I wake up, I don't immediately look at my phone. So I just go around. I need at least 10 minutes to just process that, okay, I've woken up. And then I go to the washroom, I brush my teeth, I go meet my mom. And then when I'm relaxed and when I'm fully awake, I go check my phone. So that actually helps a lot. You're not giving that stress to your eyes and to your head as soon as you wake up. Screen time, we have so much screen time these days, so it's just
Exactly.
stressful. The first thing that you look at when you wake up and the last thing that you look at when you sleep, it's annoying when it's when you're looking at your phone. So yeah, 100%. And my productivity levels also go like this. So morning it's here and then it goes down
Exactly.
100%. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I think with spirituality, I think we can tie together a lot of primal things that people used to do as well. So I think with spirituality, I think intermittent fasting. Have you heard of intermittent fasting?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You
We
wake
do
up and
that. We naturally do that. Like my mom has this habit because of which all of us also have. So I've told you this a lot of times that we eat our dinner by 6 maximum.
Hmm.
All of us. We have our dinner by 6:30. And then obviously breakfast would be at 9 or 10 only.
I understand.
Or
Yeah.
even
Yeah. Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
That becomes a whole, yeah, I think
Exactly.
it's a very, very healthy
Exactly.
practice
Yeah.
that I didn't have to ingrain in me because
Practice. Yeah. Ingrained in
yeah.
you. But I think people who are struggling with productivity, they can do this. But they can do it in a little bit of a different way.
Hmm.
They can eat a little bit late at night, like 9 or 10. If you're going to sleep at 10, you can eat at 9 or 9:30 or 8. Don't eat at 9:30. Give yourself at least an hour for your thing to digest and all. 8:30 or 9, eat then. And then wake up and skip breakfast. Skip breakfast. This is what most productive people do. I've actually seen this in such great extents. The logic behind this is Basically, you know how our ancestors and cavemen literally used to hunt for food. So their brains and their bodies are that much more focused because they understand that they'll get food after doing whatever they have to do, like which is hunt. Now we don't have to hunt. So we replace it with the kind of work, the most important thing that we have to get finished for the day in the morning. So you don't eat breakfast, you'll be hungry. So when you are actually hungry, you actually notice this, your brain is very sharp, absolutely very, very sharp. And it's easy, very easy to actually focus on something. I think some videos, 3 or 4 videos that I posted initially on my channel, I edited all of that. Being the horrible editor I am, even cuts and all of that required days and all that. I edited all of that in like 2 or 3 hours very easily, just because of skipping breakfast. Skip breakfast and just do whatever you have to do in the morning, like finish it and then go eat. And you don't necessarily have to skip breakfast per se. Just finish whatever you have to do and then go eat. It's kind of like you are earning your meal, like how our ancestors earned the meal by hunting it. You're earning it by doing some kind of work. People nowadays, they have this habit. They wake up, they check their phone, brush, go eat. You haven't accomplished anything in the day. Just stretch at least. Like bare minimum you can do is just stretch. You don't do that. What is this? What you are not designed to just wake up and then go eat. You haven't earned it. At least go work out. At least do some kind of productive thing. I don't know, man. Even in days when I skip gym, I have to do something or the other, like stretch in the morning or go for a walk.
Active
Or
rest
else,
day.
yeah, I mean, active rest. I actually cannot take rest days. I mean, I don't know, psycho. My body is actually, again, pain is missing. I can't fall
Your
asleep.
body needs rest also. That also
Yeah,
you
but
need
my
to
body
understand.
needs pain as well. The pain is missing. I can't sleep properly. I'm not tired. I need some kind of physical activity anyway. Anyway, right? Yeah, again, you guys should absolutely couple this. I mean, obviously, don't try intermittent fasting like instantly. Like, if you're eating breakfast every single day, don't just, I'm just not going to eat breakfast from tomorrow. You're not going to sustain the habit again. Going back to fundamentals of building a habit, slowly start. Again, this is the long race. You're running a marathon, not a 100-meter race. You're not this is not kind of a 10-day spiritual retreat.
You're
This
gonna
is
attack me
kind
now
of a life. When I
for the
call you
entire
diplomatic all the
duration.
time, it's not an attack. It's not an attack. Technically, it's not an attack. Being diplomatic is good. I like
Are
diplomatic.
you being
No.
okay?
But
Yes.
yeah, my God, yeah. What a conversation. My God. Spirituality, you kind of don't expect spirituality to span out in this kind of way.
So we started something some time back, which became an entire conversation in itself. So we're gonna continue that. So these are a few signs of of how spiritual you are. So I'm gonna shoot the questions, not questions exactly, but the things that we do or we don't. We're gonna say yes or no. Okay. So the first one is uh, avoiding negative people and behaviors.
Yeah,
Do
I've
you
started doing that.
consciously do that? Do that?
Yeah, I've consciously started doing it. It's kind of hard because you want to try to make them positive, but at some point it's kind of starts influencing you itself. So it's just like I started giving up on people that much more easier now. But
Yes,
yeah, you go ahead.
I do that too. It's like when you meet someone who is extremely negative, you get the vibe. You talk to them for some time and you
Exactly.
get the vibe and like, no, this is not happening. This is
Exactly. As much as people
affecting
want to
my
claim
mood.
they have, yeah, exactly. As much as people want to claim they have depression and all that, 90% of people who have depression in this day and age are just having it for attention. Even me, I claim to have depression for so long. I was doing it for attention. Now that I am so much better, I know I was doing it for attention because there were so many things I knew I could improve. But oh no, I have depression. I can't do it. What is this? Excuses, excuses, and excuses is
That
everything
can
that
be
is.
our next topic.
Yeah, depression, mental health, and all of that can be a next topic. Yeah, but yeah,
So,
shoot, next question.
so the next
Yeah,
one is
I was gonna rant again. Go
feeling
ahead.
compassionate and positive. Okay, this is related. So obviously, if you are avoiding negative people, you want to get to the positive side.
Actually, a positive side, yes, but compassion, I'm working on it. I kind of find it difficult to be compassionate.
This is funny.
I find it very difficult to be compassionate sometimes when someone is just like,
Understand?
yeah, I mean,
Understand,
when someone is just
Manish.
like, I can't approach this girl. My instant response is not, oh, I understand. It's just like loser, you can't even approach. I should change. That is a very, I am developing compassion. I mean, obviously, I am very compassionate to specific people. You have to be compassionate to specific people. I think you get the idea. But for the guys, specifically for the guys, I'm working on it. Compassion for guys, I'm working on it.
Okay.
What
So
about
yeah,
you?
I
Like,
would I
I
would
don't think you
say
would have any idea. I mean, I don't think you would have any kind of problem with this.
no, I don't. Actually, the thing is, so many of these points, I read about this and I'm like, this is naturally there because the people I am surrounded with 24/7, like my family members, they are, I realize that they are basically spiritual. As in, if you actually read this and we have this kind of an environment which is all positive, comfortable, and it's very, it feels very good. So I think a lot of these things I naturally have, and I'm very grateful that I haven't worked on it to get it into myself. It helps me in general. So yeah, next one is asking questions about life and death. Do you question why do
I
we
mean,
live?
why are we put in this earth? Like the purpose of our life, I question it all the time. I mean, I think it's very important for guys to find their purpose and all of that. I am making a book review on this book called Way of the Superior Man, and it states a lot of things which I'm not going to state in this video because that will be a topic on its own. That'll be a topic on its own. But yeah, I mean, finding my purpose and my mission, and finding purpose and mission for a guy specifically is that much more very, very important. So I think every single guy has to question his life at some point in time. Some people do it when they're 18, all and good, well and good. Some people do it when they're 30 and they're like half their life has. I'm not. I'm not against people who do. I mean, it's good that you're doing it now at least. But yeah, I mean, death. I don't think about it at all. I mean, for example, I got scratched by a cat last week, and I thought I was gonna get rabies. I just started googling I don't know symptoms of rabies and just like symptoms of rabies and just like you can't drink water and like I'm drinking water and going standing near water. Oh, I'm not scared of it yet. It hasn't taken me yet, but I wasn't kind of scared. I was just like,
No,
if
as
I
in,
die, I die.
people have theories, and at home, and even with a couple of my friends, we have this conversation on what your theory is, what happens. I mean, what is the purpose? We have these cringe conversations, and we
That's not
actually come up
cringe.
with a lot of uh, interesting theories. So, about afterlife and all that, I was having a conversation with my mother the other day, and we were just discussing if we believe in afterlife or not, if you believe in multiple births, or you only live once, kind of an attitude. So that was interesting. But yeah, so the next one is also similar. I'm gonna skip it. Purpose of life, same thing. Being hopeful when things are challenging.
Yeah, I think that ties back to positivity. But you
Mm.
shouldn't be delusional. You
Yeah,
shouldn't be delusional,
sure.
obviously. I think that's a fine line. But yeah, obviously you should look for the positives. That's just a rule of thumb for any kind of situation. You cannot
Mm.
I think I touched upon this on the video. Take responsibility and accountability. However bad the situation is, you have no other choice but to take responsibility and authority for yourself, which
Mm.
essentially means you can only take parts of it which are positive for yourself, for your own improvement. And yeah, being hopeful when times are bad. Again, delusion is very popular when it comes to just this belief. So I wouldn't recommend people who are playing video games indulging in all kind of any kind of every kind of bad habits to be hopeful for the future. If you're going to be living like this, your future is not going to be good. So at that point, that's delusion, which was what I had a lot for a long period of my life. Thankfully I'm out of it. So yeah, be hopeful but don't be delusional. That's what I have to say.
That's true. Yeah, hope is, I think, the basis for everything, for every improvement that you want to make in your life. So hope is definitely important. Now, we have under a minute.
Yeah,
Do you want to
we
end
have
it or
under a minute. Yeah, I'll end it. Yeah.
go ahead?
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If at all you are watching throughout this conversation of spirituality that we did have, it was amazing. Of course, me and Sakhi have a lot of fun filming these, and I hope
Yes.
it was informative for you guys as well. Thank you guys for watching, and see ya.